Especially when you're a teenager. Like, my teen years were pretty bad, and I was always just like the wall of not understanding why your parents are doing things, you're just mad about it, is like pretty strong. And I think like once it breaks down, it's like those years are over already anyway. Like, I'm out of the house.
When I became a parent, I was like, damn, my parents are extra stupid.
So, welcome back to Careful Boys. Today we're talking about what are some things that most people discover when it is too late.
Crypto.
True.
Sorry, we were just on that one.
That's true.
Sorry.
Financial education.
Yeah, that's a good one, dude.
That's a good one.
I think it's like a lot of information, and it's a journey that probably should be started at like early childhood, especially if you're like take a long time to learn things, like me and shit. And then like I also think like they don't teach you in a way where it's more about emotional and self-control and discipline, rather than
I heard it.
Low blood pressure.
like it's not taught in the way where it's like you have to do this as a behavioral thing. It's more like here's some step-by-step methods on saving money or like how to like use a credit card, and it's very technical. But I think they should approach financial education the way that they would teach a kid how to maybe manage their emotions. I think that's how they should approach it.
Interesting.
Because like for me, I'm like, I think I know everything, and then I fucking blow my money on the wrong shit all the time, and I'm like, why did I do that?
But that's because you're a bad ass.
Yeah, you're really
I don't even like that brand, man.
No, you're a legend though.
I don't want to be. It's just
Yeah, you're pretty
But you are.
I'm like that guy that's like surfing and then has no like responsibilities, and everyone goes, look at, I want to be like that guy, and I'm like, but I don't have stability in my life. Let me ride the waves. Yeah. You're like, oh, that guy's living life. I don't.
Yeah, Kunu.
Yeah.
Kunu, dude.
Before you know it, you're like a 60-year-old dude in the ocean, and then it's like, oh, you're like a has-been rock star.
Dude, one of my favorite examples of this, what you're talking about financial management, is when Bart was on fucking Graham Stephan's show, and Graham Stephan the whole time is just like,
You did what?
oh my fucking god, oh my fucking god.
He had a heart attack listening to how you spend money.
He's like, we should just blow up the human race. Where's the asteroid? Just let it hit. Just kill us.
But my favorite part is he actually lived up to Bart's dream of being a fitness influencer.
He did. He really did.
He didn't know that Bart did any comedy or
No, he
anything.
didn't.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't know anything about JK.
Even the title was bodybuilder.
He went by the bit that I was saying the whole time here in JK,
And
where I'm
no-
like, dude, nobody sees you as that shit. They all just see you as a fucking like fitness guru.
No one sees you as a comedian.
Bart's like, yeah, right. He's like, Bart's like, I'm silly. I dance sometimes when I'm working out. Graham Stephan's like, you're like a bodybuilder guy. Like, what's up with that?
That's a title.
But the whole comments were all, like, you know, a lot of JK fans that also watch it. They're like, oh my god, Steve's fitness bodybuilding.
Dying, dude. They were laughing.
So fucking funny. But I never seen that guy, all the blood rush out of his whole head.
Yeah, because he's a very responsible finance.
You troubled him, dude.
He was like, you're crazy.
Yeah, you had him questioning his whole fucking life.
Yeah.
I think the funny part about all of that though is like we're not even understanding what kind of dangerous moves we're doing. Yeah. So we're just going by life like, oh yeah, it happened, and they're like, you fucking idiot! How do you keep getting lucky? You know?
Yeah, true.
I think tax is also one of those things that you don't learn until it's too late.
Fucking tax.
Taxes can eat a dick, bro.
That's such a catch-22 because I feel like when they teach you about it, you're like, get away from me, you fucking loser.
It's so boring.
Because they teach you how to pay them.
'Cause I feel like they teach you like senior year, right? Like an econ or whatever. Yeah, and
They're just teaching you how to pay them and file them. That's different.
Loser. And then later on, you're like, oh fuck, I think I should have paid attention or something.
They don't teach you how to come out on top of it, though. They just teach you how to comply.
Well, most people don't ever have to learn about it, right? Because then if you're on a W-2, then everything is taken care of for you. Your taxes get paid first, so then you never have to think about it or worry about it.
But you can still play the game though.
Yeah, you can still play the game as a W-2 employee and figure out how to maximize either your savings or your refunds or just whatever the fuck, like programs and stuff like that.
Or like if you become a homeowner or
Or like your 401k, like I found out fucking like way later on, your retirement, like let's say you have hella money in there, I think in the state of California you can pull it out and use it for I think up to 60 days, and then as long as you put it back in, you won't get penalized for it.
So you're loaning your own money?
Yeah, so there's just like shit like that. There's like so many loopholes that we just don't even know how to take advantage of. So if you had a for-sure deal, and like let's say you had 500 G's or something in your retirement, and you needed to do something, like you could potentially use that, and then if you know you're gonna flip it within 60 days, and you can just put the money back in and still come up. And there's just so much shit.
And then if you also know that too, just knowing that, hey, if you like work at a certain job where your employer will match your 401k contributions, then just being like, max out your contribution. Yeah. Somebody's willing to max it out with you. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not like locked in there. You could still leverage it. You can still borrow against it, or you can still access it for a penalty. But somebody else is paying just as much as you are. It's like, how do you take advantage of that? Nobody sits you down and is like, make sure you do this because that's the right answer. There are right answers to that financial literacy. You know?
That's true.
But you don't fucking know that until it's like your buddy's been doing it for like 10 years.
It's not sexy until you hit the roadblock and you need that information.
Yeah.
If finances and shit and taxes and all that, it was like skateboarding. You have to break your arm before you learn how to do the first move.
Yeah.
What was an aha moment for you?
An aha moment? Yeah. The first one was, I think when me and Joe first formed the LLC. And so our financial advisor is is on Joe's side of the family, and he was like, we're like, oh, so when do we need to like create like a legit entity to do whatever? And then he was like, in the state of California, he goes, you technically don't have to until, I think he said it was like 70K or something at that time. Okay. And they're like, okay, for sure we make way under that right now. And then he was like, but even if you do make past that, since you guys don't make actual like materials like clothing or whatever, like the chances of someone suing you is very, very low because you're making comedy. Like, so it's not like they can like buy something and get a crazy skin rash. He was like, you probably don't necessarily have to pay this incorporation fee until way later on. And that was the first big mind-blowing moment, because it wasn't about what is the law. It's more so about how do you like mitigate risk and how do you play this game? Yeah. Because he's like, technically, if you made 100 G's a year, you should file an LLC. But the point of the LLC is to protect you. But if you don't need protection, then why would you do it?
Right.
And it was just like a completely way different way of thinking. That I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. And that kind of opened up like the like rabbit hole of like, okay, so if there's that, then what else and what else and what else? Yeah.
I remember like maybe like 9 years ago or some shit like that. I remember thinking like I had a good year, and I was like, dude, I made like 75 grand this year from work or whatever, right? And then I didn't have a personal LLC. I didn't have like any financial literacy with taxes and stuff like that. I wasn't working with a CPA specifically. I was kind of just like figuring out how to file stuff myself with little fucking reimbursement sheets that you find on Google and whatnot, right? And then I owed the fucking IRS like 30 grand, but I didn't know how to like attack that. And the crazy, when you feel like you're like, oh, I had like my best financial year, I earned this because like I worked my ass off, and then everything that you worked hard to save for that entire year, suddenly by April you're paying it off and borrowing money to pay the rest.
Oh my god.
You get so like F the man. That I remember the next like
for real
week. Here's the funny thing. On the one hand, I started like YouTubing and understanding as much, like learning as much about finances and taxes as possible. And on the other hand, I like, in order to F the man, I was like fucking only streaming movies and not paying the theaters. Just downloading torrents and shit. And he just
saving $3 at a time.
But you know what I'm saying? Just like that feeling of like, man, fuck it.
I get it.
Like if I'm gonna lose money, you're gonna lose money.
I feel like the first time we had to pay like 6 figures in taxes, that's when I started looking at the city and going like, why is there a fucking crack on this road?
Yeah.
I'm all like, why are you guys mismanaging funds? And then I got more and more angry when I saw news about like, they're about to build this fucking train and it never happened. And then you start seeing like people getting in trouble for corruption. This guy was mismanaging funds. This politician was buying a fucking Lamborghini. And then that shit started pissing me off because it felt like, why are we paying all this tax money when these guys are just stealing it?
Yeah.
And then they're not even helping. Like if I saw our communities like thriving, you know, poor people are like being helped out, you see people all having a quality of education, healthcare, all that, then I'm like, yeah, Like, I can see how this is going somewhere and it's helping the society, but I don't see it. Like, everywhere we're looking, it's like, that fucking light needs to be replaced, man. It hasn't been working in like 10 years. Or like, I don't know, it just feels like, where's the money going?
Yeah.
And then they need more and more money. And I'm like, why?
And they always raise funds for the Department of Education in California.
Yeah.
And they always have the worst scores. Yeah. So it's like, but they're like, if we had more money, and like, I feel bad for the teachers.
I feel bad for them too.
I know the teachers need more money. I do. I think that. But if you ever talk to one, you know they do. But
And they're not the ones getting paid, though.
correct.
Yeah.
The Department of
They're getting
Education
shit.
is so fucking like corrupt as shit. That's the thing I learned the most because I have some family who's involved in that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like wild.
Even in the good school districts, even like the
Yeah.
rich school districts, these people aren't getting paid enough.
And then you find out more about how the racket works. Like, you know, governments, they have this use it or lose it funding mentality, right? So like, let's say you get a budget of like $100,000, and then you would think you get rewarded for going, hey, we only spent $30,000 this year, so we actually have a surplus in the budget for another $70,000. But if you do that, oh, well, you only need to operate with $30,000. We're only going to give you $30,000 next year. So for them to keep getting that $100,000, they have to spend it all. So what they'll do is they're like, well, what do we need to spend on? All those chairs look old. Let's just put them to the side. We're buying a whole new set. We need new this. We need new that. And you would hope that they use it on the infrastructure, but most of it is like stupid ass things.
And it's no different than having your own business too, because that was one of the, I think for me, biggest shock. It's like, if I don't spend this money, it's gone.
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, what do I need? I guess I need more cameras. I guess I need new sound equipment, new whatever the fuck. And in the meantime, I could have used that to hire people to grow my business, but there's no incentive for that. Like the realest incentive I could get is just buying more shit for my business.
Spend money to save money.
It's so wild.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, I think that those are the things I wish I fucking knew way earlier. Another thing would be health. A lot of the stuff, there's just a lot of misinformation out there. And then also, we learn now that like a lot of the governing agencies were just marketing arms of a lot lot of you know?
Oh, like the food pyramid and shit.
Yeah.
Anti-red meat propaganda, right? Because they were distracting from sugar. Because big sugar was actually fucking people up.
Big sugar sounds funny.
You like that?
Crazy to me that Big Milk was the person of
Yeah,
the
dude.
food pyramid.
Yeah.
Big
They're
grain,
still,
big
they're still
milk.
going, too.
They're still going strong.
Milk is like signing influencers and shit.
Dude, they got what's her name? The poor actress. The poor actress is just like, I fed my baby milk, and then everyone's like, yeah, fuck you, you fucking cunt, you bitch cunt. Oh, it just happened. I can't remember the
I want to be a milk influencer.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'll promote Fairlife. I like Fairlife.
Oh, dude, hook us up, their life.
Isn't that like super protein milk?
Hell yeah, that's the
why.
best. Nothing but gas, baby.
Who's it, Sally Field?
Can I can I give a hot take? Something completely different?
Heck yeah.
Hot take. All right. I think when I was younger, I thought sex was such a big deal.
It is.
What are you talking about?
Never mind then.
What the fuck?
But continue.
How hot is that take?
But just the idea that, like, you know, by the time you're an adult, like really an adult, or you've been around the block and you're just kind of, oh, like, girls want it just as much, or like at the end of the day, like, it's something that like was a big deal to you, like like a week later, maybe they're not even thinking about it at all, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
It's so casual for the rest of the fucking world, but you make it such a big deal in your head when you're younger, and I feel like that stopped me from experiencing so many different fun situations that you would never allow yourself to experience as an adult later anyway. So
Dog,
like you
we should
should
have had way more sex, dude.
yeah, we should have just had
100%.
way more sex.
100%. My body count's so low because of this propaganda shit. It's so fucking low. I think about it every day. I
It's
regret
because
it
of
every
big
day.
milk. Big milk.
I'm telling you, dude.
I think when you were younger though, it's so hard to get that you would stay up till the middle of the night. All right, that's it, it's 2 o'clock, we're gonna go sneak out, whatever. You would go through and fuck in the back of a car, like whatever. Now I'm just like, I'm too tired to go hook up.
Sounds exhausting.
You know, like I think the older you get, you're just like, I don't want to fuck.
Plus, fucking in a car. So when I fuck in a car, right? I'm 6'4.5".
It's a Mini Cooper.
My knee hits the belt buckle, the fucking thing, and I gotta get over here, and then like my leg's falling asleep, and I'm like, this is not fun.
Yeah, but when you're 19, you're just like, I can't wait.
Yeah.
But there was something like magical about, the conquest for sex is such a thing that like gets romanticized and even like comically drawn up in like movies and shit. There is something funny about being with your boys and making a big deal out of it.
Like, and then they come back and you're like, did you do it? And then you're like, yes, they did it.
And then everyone knows she's a slut after that. That's the most satisfying part for us, right?
It's the slut shaming.
That's the part that we like.
Hey, I wasn't talking about women.
We're still talking about financial literacy, right?
Yeah, mostly.
He saved money. High five.
He didn't have to take her to dinner because she's a real slut, our kind of girl, our kind of gal.
Hey, but 10 years too late though? Dude, for real, imagine we all got Bitcoin in like 2014.
I think about that shit all the time, bro.
Did you have a fucking bunch of Ethereum too?
2012, I had my first 1.3 Bitcoin in 2012. Suck my dick, bitch. I've been early to everything. Deal with it. Deal with it. You can't. But you should.
You're such a wrestling heel.
I've always been early to all this shit. Deal with it. You can't though.
Early adopter.
Oh, you know what's one of the typical ones though? That's like you find out too late, and I think it works transitively on both sides. Is the point of view of your parent versus the point of view of the kid.
Oh, true.
Like how your parents saw you and how when your parents realize how you saw them. Like it's
true.
That comes pretty fucking late.
How'd it come to you?
It comes faster if your parents like speak fucking full English, huh? I bet.
Who are you mad at?
He resents you, Steve.
My dad spoke yelling, by the way. My dad spoke yelling, actually.
I'm just speaking openly.
Just so you know.
So I got these careful.
My dad spoke. I'm gonna take it out on my mother. That's what my dad spoke.
I mean, like when you're, especially when you're a teenager. Like my teen years were pretty fucking bad, and I was always just like the wall of not understanding why your parents are doing things. You're just mad about it. Is like pretty strong. And I think like once it breaks down, it's like those years are over already anyway. Like I'm out of the house.
When I became a parent, I was like, damn, my parents are extra stupid. Cause
you're like, this is easy. What the fuck?
Because I thought it would be one of those where like, cause like growing up, like my parents would always tell me, man, once you have a kid, you're gonna understand where all this is coming from. And then
parents are hicks.
And then when I got and when I had a kid, like I understand the impulsive and initial emotion, but the execution, I'm like, damn, you guys thought that would work, huh?
You're a fucking idiot.
That's
a good strategy, I think.
That's crazy.
That's what's interesting about it is like I don't think that my parents were right. The funny thing is like now I just understand how they were wrong. But then I let that reaction to their wrong decisions govern my decisions that I made as a youth, which I think was the part that was fucked up. Like I could have just went, my parents just don't, they just don't understand it this particular way. But I didn't have to overreact.
This is what productive people do, I think. Because like, you wouldn't have turned out the way you did if not for your parents.
Very true.
Not a chance. Very true, and you rose above a lot of things, and like you never make excuses for anything. I've never heard you make an excuse ever. Yeah. I've seen a lot of reasons why you maybe could use excuses. You don't. Like I think that you are just a productive person, so you push through with like, I'm Bart anyway, fuck you. And I think that that's because of
my parents, and that's something I'm very grateful for, actually.
They gave you the environment of trauma and for you to resist again.
It's
literally, it's a formative environment. It's like, dude, the way stars are fucking made, dude. You know, like it's productive as hell, right? Yeah.
But it's like now you were, given those cards. You were dealt those cards, and then it's depending on you how you play it. So it's like if you didn't have those struggles, then your characteristics would have been completely different.
That's what's funny. It's like that's one thing that's almost meant to be too late. Like it's almost that's the point.
Yeah.
The point is that you go, oh fuck.
Yeah.
No way.
And some of us take much longer to learn than others, I think.
And the only sacrifice is a good relationship with your parents.
Yeah. But that shit's always shaky though, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's a two-way street, man. I think like my mom had a lot of growth. Yeah. So she was a stubborn fucking bitch, but I think she came around and it's a two-way street. Like both of us were like, oh shit, okay, let's talk about it.
Because even till this day, if I get a text from my mom and I see it just her name, I'm like, okay, but let's get to like a really balanced place because I don't want to be my initial response. And then like, okay, this is how I can continue a healthy relationship. But I wish it wasn't like that. I wish it was like, it could be, I'm so grateful for all the things you taught me. Yeah. But all the things I am grateful for, instead of paying it back to her, I just try to give it to Taika.
That's the best though.
But I also like feel like I'm not a good son because like I'm not paying the love back to her either. You know,
That means she
you know?
did a good job. You're always in debt to her, and you're doing good to her grandson.
Yeah, that's true.
But I also hate her guts.
Yeah, but
You don't really hate her.
Not exactly.
Not hate.
You don't isolate her, or you would.
Her. I might even pick cilantro over her. I don't know.
Hey, but I mean, there are a lot of sons out there who love their mom and wouldn't buy a house for them.
That's true.
You would do that.
There's also a lot of sons out there.
You would do it with this face on.
If it's far away, yeah.
A lot of sons
Not in
out there
Vegas.
that
If it's far away.
I wouldn't buy her house in Vegas. I'd buy her house fucking.
But you're still not completely removed from it. You know what I mean? Like it's still there.
There's a million times I want to tell my dad how much I love him and how much I respect a lot of things about him and stuff like that. But then I just think about all the times he hung up on me growing up. I don't want to put myself out there and just get hung up on again.
But yeah, dude, your dad doesn't want to hear that shit though. As soon as you compliment him,
self-preservation, dude.
Yeah, I just think about that all the time. I'm like, oh, but I be putting myself out there so much.
I know. I think the same thing. Like I think I'm about to tell my dad I love you, and then I hear him go, okay, like because that's how he would be. I'd be like, oh, I love you, Dad. He'd be like, well, okay.
Ryan must be going.
That's my old man. I'd be calling him growing up. I'm like, hey, Dad, like there's a what's going on? What's going on? Is this important? Okay, gotta go. Bye. And it's like,
Yeah.
we were so close.
Right.
And he's like, fucking kids, man.
But that's the thing. The ability to laugh about it is something that I also wanted back then. But I was only mad.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that was too.
And that's what this community group's about.
Exactly. Yeah.
We share our trauma.
Therapy, dude. Jknews is fucking therapy. Dude.
I think those tools would have been good at an early age, like processing information, being able to understand how to control your emotions, like normal fucking functions of like how do you like work this body.
How do I make it through life and shit?
Yeah.
With as little scars as possible.
Seeing the
It's
humor
stupid,
in all the fucking disasters is probably the greatest fucking
Yes,
tool.
sir.
Yeah.
It's a talent.
Yeah.
It's a skill.
And then, but that only comes after you've already done all the incorrect shit.
Yeah, after you fuck up a bunch.
Yeah.
And it's toxic. So, yeah. Well, seeing it all is humorous.
Humor?
Yeah, that is true too.
What's toxic about it?
Very toxic. I heard about it.
Oh, is it because it's not an
Because you shouldn't joke about
Oh,
it.
because it has misogynistic roots.
So I heard about.
But we're toxic allies. It's different.
That's it.
There's probably white supremacy roots in there too. somewhere.
Adjacent to. Yeah.
I just
Toxic
care.
adjacent, yeah.
Hey man, toxic ooze is what made the Ninja Turtles, so count me in.
And Shredder though. And Shredder, you piece of shit.
You can have it both ways.
Yeah.
Razor.
Yeah. And Bebop and Rocksteady, you motherfucker.